So Massachusetts is a weird place. This morning I was at home and I didn't feel like doing anything today, so I drank some coffee. Thought I wouldn't get out, but it is my Sabbath walk, and so here I am. But what makes it strange is that there was absolutely no snow at home, and here there is plenty. I am doing Mount Watatic, one of my favorite mountains. That was sort of the compromise. I was like, well, this is the one I like. I've got plenty of posts about it already, but no video. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be snowshoes. There's plenty of snow and it's melting. I am just feet out of the parking lot at this point, and shoes were definitely the right way to go. It's pretty sticky. So Watatic is my favorite hike, my favorite mountain. Everybody's got one. For some people, it's the longest or most difficult trip they had, and for other people, it may be the hardest or the tallest mountain they've climbed. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, questions of convenience and accessibility enter the formula, particularly also a view, a pretty spot maybe to sit and think. And for some people, it's where something significant happened in their lives. Another factor for me, and I think for a lot of other people, whether they would phrase it this way or not, is that a good hike or a good walk helps us to find our way to a positive connection with the divine, or as we say in church, with the great whatever. When I hike, and with a lot of other people I know, when they hike too, we're trying to be part of a whole that will lift us up.
So all these signs say to go right. Watatic, Mid-State, and then the big one there, Watatic Summit. Totally makes sense. This trail though that also goes here, also goes up. It's more gradual. I always like to have the gradual on the way down. So we will follow all these arrows.
We're heading up now. It's a weird position because there's a lot of snow. I don't think I've seen this much snow all winter. Certainly in Massachusetts, but I think even last weekend in New Hampshire we didn't have as much. And yet, it's really quite warm. Normally they tell you when you're hiking in the winter to start cold, so that you don't get too sweaty and gross and die of exposure, something like that, hypothermia. But I have to say, I'm down to one shirt and I'm still quite warm.
All right, you can see it's starting to go up a bit here. What you do when this happens, if you have snowshoes, is you try to see if you can get the little, I call them elevators. It may be something else, but there's a little thing that can make it flatter for you, particularly with all this not really beaten down snow. Okay, so I got them up. I'm gonna see if I can show you real quick what they look like. See this metal thing here? That's what I'm trying to talk about. Normally it's down, but then you put it up in the snow when you're on a mountain, even a little mountain like this, and it makes everything a little bit more like stairs. So try as I may, I couldn't get a good picture of what I was trying to explain to you about the elevators on the back of your snowshoes. So somewhere in here I'll just pause for edit and show you what I mean in a more comfortable situation.
I want to snicker at the trippy prose of transcendentalist poets and philosophers like Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson wrote in his book Nature, "Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite spaces, all mean egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part or particle of God." It's easy to laugh at that stuff, particularly the transparent eyeball part. But I can't really. After all, when I am out in the world trying to feel the wind in the air and the rock beneath my feet, or in this case, the snow, what the heck am I doing if not stumbling towards the same thing?
Okay, so this is the moment of decision. Up there is not the top, but it levels out quite a bit. This way is flat, but it would take us up and around. So it's not really a decision. We're really going up this, but I wanted you to see it. Well, that took a while. It's pretty steep coming up. I wasn't the first snowshoer, but close to it. So since the storm, I mean, of course, not since forever. So you're welcome, anonymous snowshoers, to follow. Mostly it looks like people were skiing down from here. Anyway, looks like the clouds are coming in, of course. So we'll hustle along, see if we can get a view from somewhere. Although that's nice. I'm loving how the snow is still in the trees. Makes everything look really pretty. I mean, this is heavy snow, and so you gotta watch your head, but this is why you hike the day after a snowstorm, I guess. That's the top. And here's the plaque. So I have to say, this cairn that we're sitting on right now is normally quite tall. And that plaque, you could just see the rock with the writing on it, is also much more substantial. That tells us that there's a lot of snow up here. It's beautiful, but people in the know that right over here, just a little ways, is the ledge, which is really where you go for the good views. So I'm gonna get some water, probably throw on an extra jacket, and then we'll take the 100 steps.
So you may have noticed that there are actually words on the commemorative rock that was buried in snow and in the slightly older picture. Here's what it says. Other stones in other places may commemorate the histories of people and things now dead and gone. This stone marks the site of a mountain that lived, a mountain that lives on because of people who cared, people who started with nothing but a dream and the will to work for it until the dream became as real, as solid as this stone. As sure as the ground beneath your feet, as true as this mountain upon which you stand, this mountain holding you up to meet the sky.
Snack time. But I also took my snowshoes off, and I wanted to show you what I was talking about before. See this thing? if you have your boot on like this, the heel, if you don't say it's everything's like that right in here, right? Press on that, and that gives you, when you're going up, it makes it just a little bit easier. It makes it like less of an incline. They are easy to get up this way. They're a little hard to get down, and since I only have a little bit of an up left, unless I decide to go to Nutting Hill, which I might, it's usually what I do. I'm gonna put them down. So you just, you know, see what I mean? They're hard, but then they pop down like that. Popping them up is easier. There's like a little pull and push action. But if you're gonna do anything in the winter that involves a mountain, then you want those. Here are all the ways to get lost, but you see all of them right now turn left except for emergency access road. Okay, so this is Nutting Hill Ledges. Nutting Hill proper is just up there about 50 yards. Behind me over my shoulder you can see the back end of Watatic. Nutting Hill is almost as tall, so it makes Watatic look less impressive. I don't think you can see it from this, but I can just see Mount Wachusett behind Watatic, which is a little bit taller, and the local ski mountain. So it's easy to recognize. So I'm standing on this rock, which usually has what passes for a view, and I guess it does today, but I remember when I was younger and my kids were younger and my wife was younger, we all hiked up here and sat on this rock. We brought Subway sandwiches and Cokes, I think, and sat here and had a picnic. It's funny what you remember. That was a long time ago, and I don't actually remember when. I just remember doing it. But that was probably our first time up, and I've been up here a lot since. So yeah, so I'm glad I came to, you know, certainly Watatic, but also little Nutting Hill. So it is getting late, and I'm actually only about halfway now. I mean, distance-wise, all the elevation is over, and so I'm gonna, you know, probably just haul and get back to the car. It has warmed up again, and the sun is coming out just now, so it should be beautiful.
So that's it. Thank you for coming on my favorite hike. Favorite hikes and favorite mountains are all about memories and community and accessibility and connection. Connection to the great whatever, but also to each other and to nature. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you enjoy whatever your favorite hike is in the near future.